Director Leggett?
Yes, ma'am.
We just started. Okay. We're recording.
Okay. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, November the 2nd, 2021. And it's approximately 1:01 p.m. This is the Performance Monitoring and Audit Committee. And we have an agenda. So I'm at number 2, committee presentations and updates. We don't have any.
Chairman Leggett.
Yes,
If
ma'am.
you would, I would just like to give you a brief update. This
Please.
is not something that we had scheduled, but I just wanted to inform the members of this committee that on Saturday evening, we were able to assist the Housing Authority of Savannah with an emergency that they had at Stillwell Towers. Evidently, they had some issues with the elevator over there. And their director, Ms. Davis, contacted me seeking assistance to transport some of their residents to a extended stay facility on Abercorn Street. And we were able to accommodate, and we are making arrangements to transport them back to Stillwell tomorrow morning. So I just want to make the board aware of that.
Yes, I mean, I was made aware of that by our city manager, but I appreciate Kat jumping right in to help partner with moving our elderly and our disabled. And also, you know, a lot of people are throwing a lot of shade at Housing Authority, but you know, when there's a massive fire or the alarm is called, the elevator shut down until they can be reset.
That's right.
So I always give kudos to you for always being Johnny on the spot and putting everything else to the side just for the common good of people. I appreciate you and our leadership.
Yes, sir.
Anything else?
No, sir. That's all.
Any other questions from anybody else? I mean, because that could have been worse than what it really was, up on the 14th floor and then trying to get as many people down as possible and also feed them, transport them, and contact families. So again, kudos to you guys and the team.
Thank you.
And I think back to the agenda, I think you guys want to add 2 more items to the agenda, Ms. Ragland, is that correct?
That's correct. We wanted to add the Public Transit Agency Safety Plan that has been presented to the board previously, but Mr. Hall had made some revisions, so hopefully this will be a final adoption. And also the Uber Technologies Agreement, which will be added. Those 2 items will be added to the agenda.
So I got D, E, and F is what I did.
Okay. Okay, yes, ma'am. We'll follow that order.
Sounds good.
Are we prepared to move on to A, Chairman?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
The first item on the agenda is the comprehensive operational analysis and the transit development plan. And these are 2 plans that staff has been diligently working on, trying to bring to fruition. And Ms. Roundtree, I will let you present these items.
Yes, good afternoon, directors. We would like for the board to consider approving the issuance of an RFP for, as Ms. Bell said, a comprehensive operational analysis as well as TDP. We've decided to combine these 2 plans into one, in order to have 2 done at one time. And so we think that this is definitely a need. We know that the previous TDP expired in 2018. We were recently made aware that the updated TDP is required by June. So this is a very aggressive timeline, but we're sure that we can do it because it's really an update. So we just wanted the board to consider that so that we can move forward with meeting that deadline for June of 2022.
But we're talking about hiring somebody to do these plans?
So this will be, yes, this is a comprehensive plan that we will be issuing an RFP for.
Well, let me ask you this. What about our partnership or our membership with APTA? APTA doesn't do things like this, Ms. Ragland?
No, ma'am. They will not actually do the plan. They will review it for us and make recommendations, but they will not conduct the plan. No, not the plan itself.
And so currently on staff, so each time this comes up, we'd have to do the same thing.
Well, we are hoping that we are growing our staff to include personnel that would be able to do this in the future, in the very near future, as a matter of fact. But at this current time, we do not have anyone on staff to complete this plan. Or
So,
these plans.
and with all these RFPs, my question is about the minority, what the minority participation. So do we know that we have the ability to at least have them solicit? Have we identified those entities, or we just put it out there, and if they want to apply, they apply, if not?
Well, it will go through the procurement process, and they do have procurement, of course, does handle those DBE requirements. I'm sure that they will try to solicit for those individuals, those agencies that qualify under the DBE. But once we submit the information, the procurement, our finance and procurement handle it from there.
And yes, Dr. Robinson, that will be a part of the procurement process to identify those that are ready, willing, and able to participate in the process.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Okay, we'll move to item B, which is our security services RFP and the scope of services issuance. Stephanie, would you like to just touch on that, please?
Yes, directors. As you know, we currently have a temporary contracted agency providing security services for all CAT locations. And it is desire of the safety division that we move forward with securing a contract for a 3-year period for security services. And this RFP will be seeking the authority of the board to move forward with the issuance of the RFP for security services.
Any questions or discussion? Oh, so these reports must have been pretty detailed for everybody. You're muted, Dr. Robinson.
I read them, so.
Okay. Well, good. I'm good. We're all good then.
Yeah, but I think the person that's doing the temporary service, will they have an opportunity to bid as well, or that they've proven to be inadequate, or?
Now, I'll let Mr. Hall, if he's on the phone, if he's on the line. I don't think he is, but anyway, we've been very pleased with the services provided by the current provider. They will have an opportunity to bid. We have had no issues at all. They've been very timely in reporting information. They have made the point to secure the perimeters of both properties on a timely basis. They actually walk the around the buildings. So we're pleased with them, and we hope that they will bid on the permanent contract.
Okay. The rainforest.
Okay, the next one is the item C, is the supplemental paratransit service agreement with the Coastal Regional Commission. And I know it's not a secret at all that we have been really struggling with providing paratransit services during this last year. COVID environment has limited access to the vehicles. We cannot carry as many passengers because we've been practicing social distancing. And there are other mitigating circumstances, but we have really been struggling in providing this service, and especially on a timely basis. And we feel that it's critical at this point that we seek some options to assist us. And an agreement with Coastal Regional Commission seems to be a perfect fit. They are already providing such service to others in the community, while they are concentrating or focused on providing service in rural areas. It is our intent to ask them to provide services in the unincorporated Chatham County, while we focus on the inner city. So We think this is an awesome opportunity for us to provide service to our paratransit passengers who desperately need this service. And in view of the call outs and the resignations in the last 12 months, it's vital at this time.
So Ms. Ragland, the need is mostly about not having enough buses ourselves to accommodate because of the social distance, or is it because we have employment issues, or both?
Both,
Okay.
yes, ma'am, both. And we have anywhere from 250, 350 people registered per day for paratransit service. And when someone calls in, and we've had most recently, it seems like every day there are 2 operators calling in, and that affects at least 10 to 15 people on that bus assigned to that manifest. So then they have to be reassigned. And it's been an issue, it's been an ongoing issue for several months, I'll say within the last year particularly. So this will give us some relief and hopefully some support to our passengers who need this service. Are there any questions on that?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay,
I'm good.
Director
I'm good.
Adams. Okay,
I'm good.
thank you. All right, thank you. Next item is the Community Surplus Vehicle Award. And we were really pleased that we received so many applications. Ms. Rountree will expound a little bit more about the award and when that award will be made to the board.
Yes, Ms. Ragland. As you said, for this inaugural program, the Community Surplus Vehicle Program, we received over 16 applications that closed on last Friday, and we have decided that we will award that at our upcoming board meeting on the 16th. The applications are currently under review by staff, and they will make a decision so that we can present that and make that announcement.
Okay. Any questions?
That was an easy one.
Okay, good. All right, well, the next item on the agenda, which would be item E, is the Uber Technologies Agreement. And it's a multifaceted agreement. Ms. Rountree will explain to you in a few minutes, but this is, as Director Stone said earlier, it could lead to a remedy for the first last mile issue that we have. But I say it's multifaceted because it has different parts to it. But Ms. Rountree, if you would, please.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Ragland and directors, this is something that we have been talking about for quite some time, and it is another supplement to some of our services and some of our challenges that we have. It's 3 phases. The first phase is our supplement paratransit service, and unlike the CRC, this service will supplement our inner city needs that we have. So, for instance, if a customer needs ambulatory assistance and we're unable to provide it, or there may be a delay, we can reach out to Uber and send transportation so that we do not consider, have any type of delays for the customer or any inconveniences for the customer. The second phase of this is our late night service. As you know, we have reduced service and we have not returned to 100%. And so the late night service will really just kind of supplement some of our shortages, our staffing shortages, with still getting people, predominantly our late night or third shift workers, not really inconveniencing them so that they can still get to work. And our third phase is for our services that we are proposing to eliminate, our routes. That would be routes 11 and 20 that we will supplement with using Uber. That should be a reduction, certainly in our costs, but it's a route that only, those 2 routes have been identified because it's only Monday through Friday. There are no weekend service, and we don't have a lot of riderships on that route. So this is just an opportunity to kind of pilot and see how reimagining that route and the services that we're providing.
Mm-hmm. And if I may, I was going to say, if I may add to what she said, when she said the supplemental transit services would apply to the ambulatory patients in the city limits, those are passengers who don't need the wheelchair assistance, but they are able to, to board the vehicles without assistance. So within the city only. And it's only as a last resort. If we have, for some reason, cannot include them in a scheduled manifest, this is a last resort, so that they will be provided with some type of service. Additionally, the modification or the suspension of the routes 11 and 20, we currently have very low ridership. It's already been mentioned, and the board is aware that these routes don't carry a lot of passengers, but we wanted to provide this Uber agreement to provide services to those persons who might actually need the transportation. We don't want to leave them completely without. So the Uber service will provide that service to them based on demand.
And my question is that what kind of liability do we assume?
Dr. Robinson, we currently have our attorneys. They have, under the final review of this, they've been reviewing it for quite some time.
Okay.
To just look at all the liability issues. We will provide an update prior to the board meeting. They have another final review on Thursday. And so that should address any type of issues, but we will make sure that we bring that before you.
Yes, legal has been involved with this from the beginning. When we first introduced the idea, we consulted with them, and we have a draft contract, if you will, with Uber, and they've reviewed that. Their attorneys have been discussing things with our attorneys. So we'll make sure that it's been vetted before we make any final recommendations.
I have a question.
I think it's a great idea. I just want to make sure that we're clear on what kind of liabilities we can occur as a result of, and rather I don't know, will it impact our insurance coverage?
Well,
yeah.
Mr. Hall is on. He might be able to address that or satisfy your question, Mr. Hall.
Yes, our insurance carrier is looking into that with our underwriters. Right now, the only information she was able to provide is that we will assume some liability in the event that individuals that we contracted drove our vehicles. The underwriters are frowning upon that, but they're digging a little deeper into it just to see what type of insurance implications using these contractors under Kat's name might have on the overall policy. So she's getting back to us.
Yes, initially the thought was that if they're driving their vehicles are insured and they assume the liability. But if they were driving our vehicles, which wouldn't happen with the Uber, then, but of course, there are other issues that we might be held liable for because it's under the CAT name, and the insurance company is still researching that information.
Correct.
Director Adams, you had a question?
Yes, ma'am. Is there going to be a flat fee, or is it going to be like you're doing an Uber on your own?
Well, we have not decided. As it stands now, it'll be the cost of the Uber ride will be billed to CAT.
Okay.
And
they
Ms.
call the
Ragland,
call center?
Oh, go ahead, Ms. Ragland.
if I can add for the, we have identified some parameters to control costs for this. They will have limits, for instance, on the supplemental for our routes that we're eliminating. They will only be limited to 2 trips per day. They can use Uber Unlimited as much as they want to, but anything other than the 2 trips to their destination, origin to destination, to and from, we will cover. Anything outside of that will be their responsibility. For the paratransit, it's basically the same. Not necessarily, we may be able to get them using our CAT mobility service to their destination, but if we need additional assistance with it from, then that will be covered. They will still be responsible in both the CRSC as well as this contract for the percentage of the route for their fare. Paratransit is currently $2. They will be responsible for that. additionally, that's what we will cover. So those are kind of the parameters that we have set up to try to control costs for those services.
And will they be calling the call center for pickups?
For the paratransit service, that will be only it will be controlled by our internal system. So they will have an Uber Central is kind of the software that they will actually schedule the rides for the customers. It won't be the customer calling, they will schedule based on the needs. So they will control the manifest so that we can kind of control that. For the other services, yes, they will have a customer service number for anyone that does not have an app or does not use a phone that they can, download it, but they will have that on their own where we will provide the information and the access code for them to use to use those services.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And as you mentioned, as Shalonda mentioned, they will be provided an access code. So it's just not open to anyone. Anyone can't just pick up and say, I want to use this service. CAT's going to handle it. Each passenger is provided an access code for their ride.
And how are we determining which customers can use this or get an access code?
Yes, Director Adams, we will identify that. We will provide some marketing literature for the customers. And we have a very small, limited usage on the 2 routes that we've identified. So we will work with our operators, just identifying those customers, but we will make sure that with the parameter set, there's a zone set that they will be able to use that. And so we will just make sure that at the stops that they have information as well as on the buses, but we'll certainly coordinate and make sure that the right customers are using it. With the nighttime service, it's a little bit different because it's kind of more wide open, but we will have control by, just those customers and working with the employers to also identify the customers that may potentially need the service, that are working those late night shifts that we are not presently covering service. So we will coordinate with those employers for the nighttime service just to kind of make sure that we have those measures in place.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else? Any questions? Okay. And item F is our last item agenda. Is the Public Transit Agency Safety Plan. This document has been before the board on several occasions. We just made some revisions and approved some, I'm sorry, we made some modifications, and we are bringing it now to the board, hopefully for the final round of approval. Any questions on that? Oh, all right. Well, that's all that we have, Chairman.
Well, it seems like everybody trying to get out of here. Either that or they did a lot of homework.
We're trying to get better.
Yes. Do we have any old or new business from any committees or staff? Well, if there's no old or new business, our next meeting is November the 9th, 2021. That's the governance meeting, and November 16th, 2021 is our regular board meeting. So if there's nothing else for the greater good, I appreciate each and every one of you. Please be safe, and I look forward to seeing you guys back in person.
Yeah.
There's nothing else, CEO. This meeting stands adjourned.
Thank you.